O Great Spirit, saints and sages of all times, of all places, O ye pathmakers of old, most beloved and precious Ishtadevata, in all of thy names and all of thy forms, Namaste. O ye powers that be, the air, the earth, the fire, the water, the ether, Namaste. Ancestors, ancestors, ancestors of all of the lineages to whom we attune, of our bloodlines and all of the lineages, Namaste. May we learn from thee, may we draw from thee thy wisdom, thy strength, thy spiritual equanimity. May the life lessons which you have learned be bestowed upon us, that we might become content, that we might be joy-filled, that we might walk our path with ever greater wisdom. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvina Vididam Astu, Ma Virvishavahai. Om. Om Shri Lakshmi Svaha. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Welcome. Welcome to my heart. Welcome to our Sunday Sangha. Once upon a yogi time, there were two young boys born just a short time apart to very different families. One family was very, 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 very economically wealthy. They had houses all over the place, all over the world, houses, and boats and cars and people to take care of them. And the mother and father were very busy. And they gave their son everything he wanted, materially, everything he wanted, materially. But he was raised by people they hired. They never spent time with him. And because of this, he longed for their attention. Because of this, I'm afraid he became greedy, angry, petulant, if you will, rather obnoxious in his personality, rather bossy. And there was another boy born round about the same time, not exactly, of course, because you wouldn't have these different circumstances, but who was born into a family who didn't have a lot of economic wealth. But oh, Grandmama loved her grandson. Grandpapa loved his grandson. They were wise. The aunts and uncles loved the grandson. And every day, Mama and Papa and brother and sister and family would pay attention to him. They would share their goodness, their happiness, their support of each other. When he did something well, when he first stood on his own 2 feet and walked across the room, everybody was saying, "Yay, look, you did it. You stood on your own 2 feet. That's fantastic." Do you remember when you did that the first time? Or where you did that you took your first steps? He grew content. He was happy. He laughed a lot. He trusted everybody who came near him. He trusted them all. Time rolled on. One day, Mama says to him, "Tomorrow's a big day. Tomorrow, you're going to start school." Now, I'm going to tell you a secret. You're going to meet a lot of different people here. A lot of different people. Grandma came in and said, "Yes, you will not believe how many different people you will meet. Be kind to them all. Be welcoming to them all. You're going to meet people who have more materially than you do and who have less material than you do. Don't worry. Treat them all the same." Okay, and off he goes. Same night, the boy, the very rich boy, well, Papa was out of town. Mama was with friends at the theater. And so his nanny came in and said, "Well, tomorrow you're going to go to school. Here's your uniform. We have everything laid out. You'll get driven in the morning. We'll come and pick you up at lunch and bring you back. And we'll take you back. You'll come home. And you'll learn. And the people will be very different than what you're used to. Just know, lots of different people. But you're the rich one. So you're better than all of them. You're better than they are. Don't ever forget that." Well, he wasn't so sure that he was better, but they told him he was, so he had to believe. So off they go the next day to the same school. Can you imagine? They went to the same school. Now, Raj, the young boy from the very wealthy family of love, comes into the school. And he sees Sat driving up. And Sat's in a beautiful car. Raj has never seen a car like this ever, and he is absolutely amazed. And he stands and watches, and he sees Sat get out of the car, thinks, "I want to be friends with this guy. This looks great, just great." And so he runs on over and says, "Hi, my name is Raj." "Don't touch me." "Oh, sorry, man. That's a cool car you came in. Wow, wow." And so Raj says, "You want to walk into school together?" Sat didn't know what to do. He was welcomed. He was welcomed. He didn't know what to do. Obviously, this boy didn't have any sense about him at all. He wasn't treating him with respect. He wasn't treating him with the proper deference. What should he do? Well, at first, he began to puff up and be his normal, puffed, arrogant self. But then he turns and he sees Raj saying, "Hey, you guys, come here. Look, look, look. We have a new classmate. And look, Sat comes in this great car. Isn't this simply beautiful? Isn't this the most beautiful car you've ever seen?" Sat did not know what to do. He wanted to be superior. He wanted to feel above them all. But he had never been so accepted in his life. He had never been so accepted. They were just, Raj was just saying, oh, Sat, you're so fortunate. That's just so great that you have this. I'm so glad we're going to get to go to school together. I'm so glad we're going to be friends. You'll be my friend. We'll have to walk to my house. It's not as fancy as yours, but my grandma and grandpa and my mom and dad, everybody will be so happy to see you, to welcome you. They'll even make us some chai. And Sat slowly began to melt. All of the sadness and the barriers around him began to melt away. The ice around his heart began to melt. Here was a boy who wanted to be his friend, who invited him to his home, who said, it's not as fancy as yours, but we'll be really glad to have you. It's not as nice as yours, but we'll be really glad to have you. And oh, I am so happy to see the goodness you have in your life. Come. And wouldn't you know, what does Raj do? He reaches out and he takes Sat's hand and says, come on, let's go. We've got a good day in front of us. We're going to learn to read, and the whole world will open in front of us. And every day, Sat came to school in the car. And every day, Raj skipped out to meet him. Hey, 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 come on, let's go, let's go. We're going to have a great day today. We're going to have a good time. We're going to learn together. Now remember, you got to ask your mom and dad if you can stay overnight at my house. And what happened? For the first time in his life, Sat felt accepted. Here was somebody who didn't envy what he had. Here was somebody who didn't care about his mom and dad's money or the houses that they lived in, but who was willing to take him to come to his place. Not once did Raj say, can I go see your house? Not once did Raj say, can I ride in the car? He just said, oh, you're so fortunate. I'm so happy for you. And in time, they became the best of friends. And in time, Raj and Sat helped each other to learn to read, to learn to write, to learn all the skills that they needed as they grew up. But most importantly, what happened to Sat was all of the wonderful, beautiful karma from Raj's family, why it transferred over to him. He no longer felt alone. He felt accepted and loved. It didn't matter what his mom and dad did. It didn't matter that his mom and dad weren't there for him, because he was loved and accepted. And Raj was glad for him, and Raj's family was glad for him. And he knew that they would accept him no matter what. That all of the goodness that flowed into his life, they would accept. And that if he had a rough day, they wouldn't make fun of him. They would accept him. And they would try to lift him up. They grew to be the best of friends. They grew in time to be like brothers. And in time, they started a school. And in that school, they taught all of those who came to accept the goodness, to find joy in the goodness of life that flowed down to all of those around them. In time, Sat took that big car that was driving him and engaged somebody to drive the older people to their doctor's appointments, to their grocery store, to run errands for them. He used it as a taxi for those who were not easily able to get from one place to the other. Not a taxi, a limousine that he paid for, that he took care of. What was the greatest gift? The greatest gift that Raj had received from his family was that he was given the skills. His family told him, when something good happens to someone, you rejoice. When you see something good happening to somebody, you say, hey, wow, congratulations. And if a little bit of jealousy rises in your mind, you say, neti, 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 neti. They worked hard for that. If I want it, I can have it too. But neti, neti, neti. No room for jealousy. No room for bitterness. No room for anger. No room for clinging. But simply, I am content with who I am and what I am and where I am. And I find joy in the goodness I see around me. And because Raj had a family, grandmama, grandpapa, who knew that truth, and they taught it to their daughter, who taught it to her husband, who taught it to their children, who radiated that forth with their friends, and the aunts and the uncles and the cousins and the whole community, so that everyone in that community radiated that loving acceptance of the other and the joy in the good that has come forth from the lives of the other, within the lives of the other. And that goodness and that joy was enough to dissolve away the greed, to dissolve away the hurt, to dissolve away the anger, to dissolve away the resentment, to dissolve away the loneliness of others. Can you become like Raj? You can. You can. You can. All it takes is training. What Raj had was good childhood training. As my guru liked to say, you bring your children before they're 7, and whoever you bring them to will have them for life. Whatever you teach them before they're 7 will be with them for life. Teach yourself now. Train your mind. Train your mind. Watch your thoughts. Observe your thoughts. And watch what happens when something good happens to someone else. Can you celebrate? Can you be joy-filled? There once was a woman who had been trying and trying and trying and trying to have a baby without success. And her friend got pregnant and had twins, not 1 but 2. Now, what happened? She heard the news. She had a choice. Should she lament, be sad and angry and sorry, because her friend had good fortune and she did not? Should she refuse to talk to her friend? Should she say, I can't come near, it's too harmful for me, it hurts me too much? Now, that's a line, isn't it? It hurts me too much to see you happy. Wow, where's that coming from? Or should she say, how wonderful, how absolutely wonderful. You have two. You need an extra hand changing diapers. Can I come and do the groceries for you? Can I help clean up? What can I do to make your life easier? And put aside put aside her own hurts, her own longing for what her friend had, and rejoice in the happiness of that friend. The yogic principle is very simple. We live in a morphogenetic force field. In other words, you are a part of life. You are not apart from life. Goodness happens in life. Celebrate that goodness. Goodness happens to someone else and you see it. Celebrate it. But here's the other side of the coin. Something really bad happens to someone whom you really don't like. Well, you can't rejoice in that. You have to say, wow, that's a tough piece of karma. You know. Now, today in the world, you have a great opportunity, with all the social media, with the way that the news has changed dramatically, a constant flow of information that can come to you if you choose to allow it to. And plenty of opportunities to glorify or demonize another. But it's important spiritually to recognize, that's a person, just like me. They have feelings just like I do. They have hurts just like I do. They have joys just like I do. It's not some fictional character created in a play. It's another human being. It's another soul. Do I want someone else thinking of me like that? Rejoicing if I have something difficult happening to me? So this is a new, in many ways, it's a new challenge on the spiritual path. Perhaps not new as much as intensified. The change in your spiritual practices, the change in your spiritual life because of social media, because of technology, is very, very profound, and most of the time hard to see, hard to recognize before it's seized you, if you will. And the reason it's so profound is that instantly you have the capacity to make a judgment about somebody else, which you could before, but you could share that judgment with a lot of people. So if you say, oh, that's beautiful, that's such a nice thing, lots of people can say, that's a nice thing, I like that, that's good. Or if you say, ooh, look at that, yeah, oh, how could they? Or, oh, they deserve that, ugh. No, netty. Writing those things, speaking those things can go, spread like wildfire. Fire. I wish they spread like wildflowers, but wildfire. And thus, we have to stop and reflect and contemplate and say, what habits has my mind gotten into? What are the habits that my mind's gotten into? is my mind picked up the habit of becoming critical about X, Y, and Z, becoming envious about X, Y, and Z, becoming nosy about X, Y, and Z. Oh, I'm going to look and see something good happening to them. What are they doing? Something bad happening to them. Now, the difficulty is whatever you see in this environment, in this venue, it's a snapshot in time. It's just one little tiny moment in time. Even if you see, a minute of video or 2 minutes of video, it's still a tiny snapshot in time. But your thoughts have weight and they have gravity and they stick to your mind and they create patterns. So if every time you see somebody walking down the street in a skirt that you think is too short or too long, and your mind criticizes it, there's a little groove that goes, little groove. And that groove will continue to grow and to deepen so that the water of the thought form goes in that direction. And so what one has to do, what you have to do is literally, as if you are in a ground, you have to fill it up with something else. You have to say, okay, here's that person walking down the street in a skirt that I don't like. My mind doesn't like. I've got a habit here. My mind doesn't like it. Oh, stop. Neti, neti, neti. May you be mentally happy. May you be physically happy. May you be safe. May you have ease of well-being. Stop. Oh. You look beautiful. Isn't that wonderful that they're wearing something they're comfortable with? You look beautiful. You don't have to say it. Just think it. And all of a sudden you're creating in your consciousness, another path, another path. So when the thought form comes up again, it's got a choice. Go down the old road, or it's got a new little thin road to go down here. And some of the thoughts will start to go down that way. If you, with intention and with consciousness, make a choice. And the choices are very simple. Made very simply, thought very simply. Make a vow to yourself. Today, excuse me, today, whenever my mind thinks something critical of something else, I'm going to replace that with a positive thought. I'm going to be happy for them. Now, what do if you see somebody who's really karmically in a mess, a real mess? Don't have to look too far to see that now. A lot of souls are in very deep, deep, difficult karma upon the earth. Well, how do you train the mind? What do you do then? Again, that furrow, I think is the word. It's the groove of the mind where the thoughts go. You have to find the right way to visualize, the right words to use for you to change and shift your consciousness. I think loving kindness meditation is wonderful. May all be calm. May all be peace-filled. May all be bliss-filled. May all be goodness. May you be mentally happy. May you be physically happy. May you be safe. May you have ease of well-being. That takes the judgment out of everything. You do not have to think Your mind starts to say, well, they really deserve what they got coming to them. No, you don't have to think that thought. You can, through the practice of loving kindness, cultivate the spirit of kindness, cultivate the spirit of happiness, cultivate the consciousness of happiness by turning away, by training the mind. The mind is like a monkey. You've heard this. The mind is like a monkey in a cage that's had too much caffeine, that doesn't want to stop, going round and round and round and round, up and down, up and down, and up and down. And unfortunately, it goes over the same patterns again and again and again and again and again. And we must retrain it. We must fill it with something else. Fill the mind with something else. Fill the mind with something that is beautiful, that is joyful, that is peaceful. Now, it's not the easiest. It's not the hardest. It begins in small ways. I just gave you, and I said, use loving kindness. Remember, everything that I'm saying to you, you must use the observer practice. Not must, it's helped greatly if you use the observer practice, taking part of your consciousness, lifting above your head and saying, all right, I'm watching here. I'm just observing. And then you become very familiar with the patterns of the mind. You become familiar. Is it chaotic? Is it lethargic? Is it judgmental? And you begin to take these grooves and fill them with something else. You create new grooves that run alongside. And so if you do the loving kindness meditation, or the Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Shri Lakshmi Svaha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Enough times, then the new groove that you have made will overflow. And it will fill these old negative thought forms, even them out, level them out until they become neutralized, until they are no longer a part of your consciousness and you are no longer relative to them. And it begins with cultivating santosha, contentment. You don't have to like where you are in your life at this time. We all have things that we have in our life that we wish were different. Even the people who have great success in their lives have things that they wish were different. One of my greatest teachers, greatest lessons I ever learned was from a man who I had the privilege of working for many years. And he sold the company that he had started. And he sold it for $33 million. A few years after he sold it, I was in San Francisco where he lived, and he invited me to dinner. And he took me to the new company that he had bought. And I said, first of all, I was confused. I have to say I was confused. He sold the first company. Now, he had to share some of that $30 million, but he walked away with 25 or 28 million. A lot of money. A lot of money. It was more than one or two. A lot more than one or two. And I said, can I ask you a question? How's it going? How do you like this? Big mistake. I bought it at 50% partnership. So, needs a lot done, but I don't have the power to do it. Now I have to talk my partner into selling me his half or selling me more so I can do what I want to do. So you went from this company you worked so hard for years, I mean, really hard to build this up. You sold that, you got a lot of money, and then you went and bought something else, and you put yourself in a more difficult position. So we go to dinner, and I said, can I ask another question? I was feeling very brave. Why did you do it? You know, you were very successful at the first business. You know, you're well respected. You know, you've got hobbies. Why did you buy something else like this? I wanted to prove that the first time wasn't luck, that I could do it again. I thought that really maybe the first business didn't succeed because of my hard work, but because I was lucky. And I wanted to prove that I was worthy and I was good enough. Bless him. Really, I was amazed. Just amazed. Really amazed. And I still am amazed. In time, he sold that business and he went on to do some philanthropic work and has nicely retired. Everyone has a mind. And everyone's mind has insecurities. And everyone's mind has a pattern of insecurities. And no matter how successful people are, in whatever realm that you put them in, there's always a pattern of insecurities. Maybe not the same, maybe some variation. But you and I are alike. And so what do? We have to say, well, let me retrain the mind. Well, you know, I have a lot of respect for this soul, a lot of respect. Deep, deep caring for him. He, you know, was very kind to me and taught me a lot. But I often wondered, it doesn't seem like he was thinking very clearly. When all of his earthly needs were met, when he didn't have to worry about a place to live or food or a roof over his head, he chose to get himself in another bit of difficulty. And that has reflected back to me for decades now. About you and me. What do we do when our needs are met? Do we turn inward and spiritually focus? Or do we try to see, you know, keep ourselves entertained, keep the mind entertained by doing something else, by finding another challenge? And so what I'm trying to communicate this morning to you that I think is so vital is that become content. Find santosha. And the secret, one of the deepest secrets to becoming content is to just find joy in the success of others. Find joy in their success. Find joy in the child that stands up and walks on their own 2 feet. Find joy in the little girl that realizes she can crack an egg. You know the story. My great niece, Layla, telling me she could not help me with breakfast because she couldn't crack an egg. Because every time she cracked an egg, it broke. They do break, but you know. So she said, it breaks. I get shell in the egg. And I'll tell you, after she cracked a dozen eggs, we were making a big breakfast. And her mom came down the stairs and she said, Mom, I can crack an egg. That sits in my consciousness. Now, she may not remember that, but the joy the joy that that little girl, that soul felt, the confidence radiates within me, and I hope radiates within you. Find little things in your life to be joy-filled about. Look at others around you and find joy in their success. You know, your son found an apartment, your daughter found an apartment, you know, that they like. They're out on their own, they're able to pay their rent. They may be worried about the money, but they're doing it. They're doing it. They're going to school, they're making their choices. They're living their life the way that they want to live it. Be happy for them. And when they encounter difficulties, do not judge, but be kind and gracious in your thinking. And as you do this, your heart will overflow. Your life will overflow with happiness and contentment. Your own goodness will radiate back to you. It will radiate to all of us. It does radiate to all of us. Seek out the beauty of others. Seek out the beauty in life and let it shine back to you. Let it be mirrored back to you. Let it be mirrored back with your joy of the success, of the beauty, of the kindness of others. Namasteji. I thank you for your presence today. I would like for us to meditate together, to have some time in meditation. But if there's a key to what I said, a key to the mystery, the mystical mystery, it is this. The thoughts that we think create grooves in our consciousness, grooves in our consciousness. And so do not think the thought that is constrictive to you. Think the thought that is expansive to you, so that you too may find a deep, abiding joy, happiness, joyfulness in your life. Change. Just take one thought at a time, one little thought at a time, and substitute something that is more joy-filled. And you will be amazed at what happens. Namasteji. I want to share a mantra, a mudra today. We're going to use the lotus mudra today, taking the hands here, like this. Keep them at your heart. Use the little finger, the thumb together. See? The other three fingers out. This is the lotus mudra. Hold your hands at your heart center where they're comfortable, right by, just above the heart, right by the throat, for our meditation. When I say use the lotus mudra, that's what I'm talking about. Thank you. Turning your head to the left, exhaling twice. Bring the head back to the center, beginning to watch the breath. Keeping your hands in the Om mudra on your thighs. Use the sipping breath and pull the energy from the limbs to the trunk of the body. From the trunk of the body, pull the energy into the spinal column. From the base of the spine, pull the energy up to the sun center. Move that energy as a golden ball of light out in front of you. Expand it. Sweep around you to the left, behind you, encasing your entire being in golden light. Expand that golden light and now ascend upward. above the room you're in, above the building. Above the continent, above the earth plane, ascending to the high place. Finding yourself in the high place of meditation. You see in front of you a path. The path leads up a mountain. Walk along the path into the forest. Ascending up the mountain. The grove, the path opens to a meadow, teeming with flowers. Ascend further into the forest, ascending up the mountain. You come to a clearing lit with light, brilliant. Anandic bliss is radiating in the clearing. You hear Ananda, Ananda, Ananda. You see in front of you a shrine filled with light. Enter into the shrine, hearing Ananda. Walk to the back of the shrine, through the pool of light to the waterfall. The heaviness washes away, the clothing washes away. The golden dewdrops pour down upon you as you stand in the light. Place your hands in the lotus mudra against your chest, the thumb and the fingers together, the hands opening up, accepting the blessings of the light. Allow the golden light of Ananda to pour through your chakra system, to pour through you, letting go of all of the difficult karmas. Let the cup of your mudra fill with Ananda and pour over you, pour within you. Lift the lotus mudra up so that your face is resting within the mudra. Feel the golden light pouring down upon your crown center, pouring into the lotus mudra, pouring through every cell of your being. Healing, lifting, vivifying. Let your hands slowly move from the lotus mudra, bringing them open, opening them, bringing them down to your sides, allowing the light to flow through you. Ananda, 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 walking forth from the light. Feel yourself clothed anew. Walking forth from the shrine. Breathing in the light. Breathing in the bliss of Ananda. As you exit the shrine, return to your high place of meditation. And let us join forth to send our blessings unto all of those in need. Bring forth in your mind's eye at this moment the image of someone whom you do not care for. And let us together silently speak, may you be mentally happy, and feel the bliss radiating to that person. May you be physically happy. May you be safe. May you have ease of well-being. And now again, see the person's image in your mind's eye. Someone who you have been critical of. May you be mentally happy. May you be physically happy. May you be safe. May you have ease of well-being. Now bring into your mind's eye the image of someone who has given you great help in your life, someone who has been a tremendous blessing to you, and send forth that loving kindness to them, saying, may you be mentally happy. May you be physically happy. May you be safe. May you have ease of well-being. And now to a family member who has been of help to you. Now bring your mind to those whom you love dearly and send forth your blessings to them. And now together let us send forth our blessings with the Om Shanti mantra. To all of those who are living upon Mother Gaia, that the hardened hearts be softened, that all sentient life upon Mother Gaia be blessed. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. And for Mother Gaia herself, in your mind's eye, see the golden dewdrops of Anandic bliss pouring down from the higher realms upon Mother Gaia, pouring down upon her, over her, through her, that she be drenched in Anandic bliss, that all that she needs be given unto her, this beautiful, beautiful planet upon which we have the good merit, the good karma to reside. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, blessed, be thou blessed, be thou triply blessed. Thou art a blessing unto all who enter your aura. Become an ever greater blessing. Walk with greater contentment, with greater joy, opening your heart, my beloved, to all who you encounter, learning to be more gentle, more cultured, learning to be kinder, speaking with ever kinder words, thinking with ever kinder thoughts. Find happiness, find joy in the happiness of others, and overflow with happiness in your own life. Om Tat Sat Om. Aham Brahmasmi. Namaste. Namaskar. I thank you for the blessings of your presence, for the blessings of your yoga city, your meditative energies. It is always a blessing to be with you. Namaste.